Thank you, Tom. Hi, everyone. My name is Alev Tamer. I'm a Senior Partner Solution Architect in what we call Region CIMA. We cover Central Europe, Middle East, Africa. I am aligned with my South Europe partners. Femke?
Yes, my name is Femke Cornelissen. I'm Chief Transformation Officer at Wortell. We are based in the Netherlands and Belgium, and I am a Microsoft MVP. Happy to be here, happy to share, and I'm really excited to do this together with you, Alev. So let's go to the first slides. Microsoft.
Apologies before I go. If you know me, Chris Wheeler is here to respond for all the technical questions. So shoot your questions in the chat and go on, Femke.
Yeah, Tom already talked a little bit about it. We're talking about Cowork this session, but when we talk about Cowork, we also talk about M365 Copilot and UI for AI. And Microsoft Copilot is the platform, the AI platform, where a lot of things comes together. And we are really excited about Cowork. It was already in the Frontier firm. I was one of the people who already joined there and did some demos and worked for a lot of months in this environment. But now it's general available. I really want to zoom out a little bit. So if we're looking to Cowork, I think there is something changing in the way that we work with each other. We always talked a little bit about it's our assistant, Copilot is our assistant. We ask a question and we get something in return. But there is something happening when we say we go to work with Cowork. It's more like a colleague, and it's actually really a colleague. So it understands you even more, and it's going to do some work for you as well. And that's way different than you use your chats in Copilot's M365 Copilots. It gets things done for you. And of course, there needs to be a lot of adoption around learning how you get the best results. And of course, you need to understand what's happening in the back, but also how it can give you the best results. But it's good to understand it's in your Microsoft 365 environment. And it's really good that all the governance and the security is there right in your M365 environment. And it's searched in your documents, in your Teams, in your Outlook, in the different kind of stuff that you have in your environments. And of course, I know that we're going to talk about that more. So keep going. Why I think it's matter right away right now, because it's now available for everyone. It's general available. Everyone can use it right away. But it's also across the different kind of systems. And we're going to give some demos today as well. For example, it's across in your CRM system. You can use it in the different applications, but we really need to learn what happens in the world when we're thinking about that we don't only have an assistant, but we also have really someone as a colleague, or that we are the person, the human in the loop, who say we want to achieve our next steps. And it's mindset shift as well by learning what you want, how you want it, how you get the best results. And as well that you can do, for example, like things that you did in the beginning, like in 40 hours, you can do, for example, like work in 50 hours, like less. So first 50 hours, now 40 hours, or things will actually changing the way that you work. And I don't want to say it's that much hours in every task, but you really need to learn what's important for you and what your outcome will be. So going to the next slide, and I give it to you. Yes, go ahead.
Let me take the control.
Yes.
So if you don't know Cowork, it's now generally available starting on the 16th of June. We always talked about Work IQ and how it's been intelligence within your Microsoft 365 Copilot license. So Cowork is your digital colleague who can actually delegate tasks. You can ask it to create things. If you're preparing a demonstration for your customers, you just create a skill within Cowork and it will help you create things. Also grounded in Work IQ, as well as like everything else, Microsoft Copilot Cowork is protected with your enterprise-grade level security, compliance, and privacy needs. And also, if you saw our video with Chris Wheeler, we tried to just decode the Microsoft strategy about AI. Now we can bring multimodal in your day-to-day lives. So if you haven't used Cowork, we'll share really good examples with different departments, as well as I will share a prompt documentation that you can actually use and do not start from scratch. So Cowork actually changed the way I work. So there is one book called Open to Work, written by LinkedIn CEOs and Chief Economical Opportunity Officer. It's all about...
Go ahead.
So it talks about how AI is going to change the way we work. And that's book based on their 8 million LinkedIn members. So if you haven't read it, just please go and read or listen it. I definitely recommend. One thing you can do if you don't know how to start is just think about the task you're feeling bored, the manual tasks, and just ask Cowork how it can help you. You can also use Prompt Coach to create your prompts. So you just describe things, and then Cowork plans the thing. Literally, sometimes it can reduce the amount of work from days to hours. So I used Cowork to plan my team's offsite event, and it wasn't easy, and I don't like organizing things. So you can just give the information, and if you are using different Microsoft tools, you can actually use it to find an available conference room, book it on behalf of your team, and it does things. You are the human. You are in control. We are now the third pattern of becoming the frontier firm, human-led and agent-operated time. So if you give it an automatical permission, and just be very careful about this, it will execute things. It will organize your inbox. It will create your documentations, decks, speeches, anything. And it's fully and deeply integrated with your day-to-day working tools like Microsoft 365, applications, scheduling. And now we made the plugins and connectors available to just plug into different systems. So some of them will be really, really nice to integrate with Microsoft Dynamics, CRM Sales. So we'll show you some of the examples. When we made Copilot generally available, we also released some new roadmap items, which was actually coming soon. And some of them are already generally available. Opus 4.8, Sonnet 4.6, GPT 5.5 Deep Thinking is now available within Frontier. What this means is, if you are living in the European Union, we know that we are using Anthropic cloud models as sub-processors. And if you have an architect aligned with you, we can share when it's coming under NDA. So I cannot share in this call. So you can use the GPT 5.5 without enabling the Anthropic models. We are also making Cowork One as a new model available, which is trained by how we are using with Copilot, and it will be the most cost efficient. The other thing is Cowork will be supporting all our security and compliance like DLP, DLM. If I upload or created a new documentation, it's now supports, and you can just select the labels from drop-down list. We are bringing new plugins. Some of the plugins are already available, which are listed here. We have LSEG, Miro, Monday, and we'll have new plugins like Databricks, CB Insights, as well as Canva. We can now share and manage skills. So you'll have a different tab for the skill set where you can actually create new skills, upload new skills. You just give Copilot Cowork what you do in your day-to-day job and ask it to create skills, and it will create skills. So you'll be able to use your branded templates. That's great. You don't have to use the Cowork templates. You'll be able to generate and edit images. It's actually great creating celebration videos. I did it with one of my partners who was just celebrating their 15th year. And so this is new. Was one of the different things if you are using Microsoft Scout is the browser use. So if you open Copilot Cowork with your Edge browser, you'll be able to use Cowork to log into websites. And also, if you haven't seen it, we have a new user interface. Yay! Once again. So you have Cowork now embedded in the new user interface. So it's very easy to just click and switch. Okay. So we've been telling everyone that we need humans to control everything that Copilot creates. And also we were using the word that Copilot is Copilot and not autopilot. Well, it's changed. We can actually use Microsoft Scout to actually automate things without even sending out a prompt. So this question comes to me since we introduced Microsoft Scout. What are the differences? So you have Microsoft 365 Copilot license to just catch up with your emails, create artifacts, etc. With Cowork, we can now automate things, create multiple architects, as well as we can actually automate multi-step business process across systems. What Microsoft Scout brings, there are lots of differences. This is one of the main differences, is always on manage and coordination. So you can just create a workflow and you don't even need to do anything. It will just automate the way you work. So one of my thing that I use Microsoft Scout is I need to see how many offers my partners are creating. And I needed to search from Microsoft Azure Marketplace. Now, because Microsoft Scout can just use my permissions and do this on behalf of me, it just creates a really great deck with my partner's offers, and it's just updates it every week. So think about a repetitive task that you do in your day-to-day life, and then just let either Cowork do on behalf of you, or you don't even need to do it. You can just create an automation in Scout. Now, Copilot Cowork needs Copilot's cost management plan created. So starting from tomorrow, if you don't have your plan created, you won't be able to use Copilot Cowork and it will be disabled automatically. This is an opportunity for you to see and realize how you use Copilot Cowork, because we now have many tools can help us with different things. So we will have 4 different pillars for the pricing. First, the model. You'll be able to, so we need to see which models we are actually using, because they will have different actions as well as different kind of capabilities. So if you need only Q&A session, you can just use Copilot Chat, which is available to all Enter ID users. And if you have Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can just use Work IQ to just have that chat. But if you need to automate a process, then it's coming to Copilot Cowork. And you'll be able to, so we have new capabilities called /cost. That's a new skill. So you'll be able to see how many credits has been spent within an action. The second thing is context. So if we have fewer contexts or documentations, we will call it like a light task, and we have another slide to explain that. If you bring more information and more complex data, the more it will cost. So if you are using like APIs, MCPs, plugins to bring third-party information within your prompt, it will affect the amount you use Copilot credits and runtime. So it's the same with the model. If that task is running more, it will cost more. So you can just use the cost and see how much it might cost. And then it will bring conversation about, should I pay for a person able to do this? Because most of our customers are actually using like content creator agents as a third-party company. So there will be some conversations about, oh, I have Cowork. Maybe I should just use Cowork to create instead of using or paying more to another companies or third-party agents. I know that it will take time to just digest all the informations out there and realize what are the light tasks, what are the medium tasks, and what are the heavy tasks. Some of my colleagues are using Cowork to create applications, create dashboards. So these, instead of just maybe using a developer, so this might cost more than a light task. So what we define as light task fewer sources, like reasoning, one or few inputs. And we just estimated $1 to $3. So 1 credit is 1 cent. The medium task, many resources, structured reasoning, very organized and deep briefing, as well as more than 2 outputs. And then we had heavy tasks like broad aggregation, deep reasoning, and many outputs. So I know I like creating dashboards, which is more readable, and I can just filter them. So those are for medium task. And if you use just to go and do some kind of research and create me a word, that will be like a light task. Okay.
Yeah, I have one great example, and I love to add it as well, if that's okay. So if you're asking for example, and I know you don't need to do that in Copilot Cowork, you can do that as well in Copilot Chat. For example, you ask the question, what is the weather in Copilot Cowork? That will cost like 1 cent, something like that. So we need to learn that as well, that we can do that kind of things in Copilot, MD5 Copilot Chat. But if you ask in Copilot Cowork, for example, please search my email about the last 12 months and everything where we talked about AI, make a PowerPoint presentation around it that I want to give to our board. Then it will cost you like $20, $25 to searching around that data and creating a PowerPoint presentation. Of course, it depends on how many data you have, and it also depends on how much images it will create. But then you know exactly, well, what is a light task and what is a heavy task.
Thank you.
Back to you.
And we are also releasing some admin controls for you to see what's going on within your tenant, because this is important. And we are giving you the chance to just see and do the discoverability and observability, which means that nowadays, so you'll be able to see, because we started releasing on the 16th, you'll be able to control what users see. You'll be able to control the usage-based billing, and you can just select either pay-as-you-go with your Azure subscription. And if you have a Mac, you'll be able to use Mac. Or if you have prepaid pre-purchase plan, which costs less, but it's an annual commitment, you'll be able to use Copilot credits within Copilot Cowork. You can enable a phased rollout. So this means that you can select a group of people just to see the cost management, and you'll be able to just deploy it on a phase. It's similar to Microsoft 365 Copilot deployment. You'll be able to meet the compliance needs, govern exposure, and you'll be able to build your confidence of how your company uses Copilot Cowork. You'll be able to set spending policies. You'll be able to select a group of people. You'll be able to select or get that policy set out for the whole tenant. And soon you'll see the screen in the next few slides. You'll be able to a specific person. You'll be able to just do hard caps and alerts. So there will be a limitation, and you can just define that limitation within the credits. And you'll be able to monitor and requests. So if you haven't set up the plan, your users won't be able to use Copilot Cowork tomorrow. They will request access, and you'll see in the Microsoft Admin Center. And when they out of credits, they will see a notification banner on the bottom, and they will be access to request more. So you'll be able to control everything as an admin. There will be policy-based limits and alerts that you can actually set up within the tenants. Like you see, you can have like specific group all users and the specific users in upcoming. So you'll be able to define a set of credits for a sales department, marketing department. If you want your executives to have more credits, you'll be able to do the definition. And this is thanks to Tom, how it looks in the tenant now. There will be a centralized dashboard for cost management within Microsoft Admin Center. You'll be able to see your credits used, how many credits are available, and you will be see the actions for the requests. And on the bottom right, you will be able to see the spending limits per department. So this is all available to you.
Yep. This one is for me,
Hand it over
right?
to
I will
Femke.
say.
Yes.
So what we see is that we actually need to use Cowork with more intention, I think. Like we need to know what we want to get out of it. We don't actually going to play that much because everything what we do is actually we want to get the results. And of course we still can play, but we know that that will cost something. So we are going to do with better intention and learning more about what we want to achieve. So what I want to say here is that we want to have good prompts. We know what is the outcome, what is the input, what is the definition of done, what is the thing that we really want to achieve, but as well, what is the thing that we need to look at, and do we need to approve something around that? And well, Cowork can give you some things back and saying, okay, I'm searching for this. Do you really want to have like a concept email in your email box, or is it something that I already can put out? So the sharper you are, what you really want, the better Cowork can deliver. And the thing is that you learn about what is the step that is actually you want. We as a user are mostly of the time starting somewhere with chats and then figuring out what are the next steps. And right now, we're going to learn from the beginning part in different kind of fast that we want to achieve. It's the step that we want to learn in the first way by creating a good prompt there and not have a lot of tasks behind. So what I see is that there were 3 shifts if we're talking about. So we see a different, like the tool and the colleague, but also a single question. We're going to make more like a complete assignment. And instead of that, we only want to write, we want to have an outcome. And we go to search for the outcome, and we will be doing that together with our cowork. And you can think about a few different things to look at Cowork. And you say, my goal, my context, my search, and my expectation. Now, we already know this from prompting in Copilot itself, but it's even more exciting, I think, but also more valuable to say, okay, draft an email by the end, or I want to analyze my call, draft an email, but also make a PowerPoint presentation. You bring it all together in this different kind of blocks. What Cowork knows about you, of how it gets to know more about you, is about work IQ. So it's your skills, your context, but also the data that you have there. So you can give, for example, a skill about your writing tone or your writing style, but also your PowerPoint, your organization, and how you want to use it, that it's always making the same kind of PowerPoint that you want to use in the organization, and make a skill around that. But work IQ is working around all your applications and knowing exactly what you want and how you want to achieve your things. So we talked a little bit about Cowork and prompts, and I know we don't have that much time and we have a lot of demos, so I go really fast. But a skill is a reasonable set of instructions for Cowork. So it's stored in a markdown, and I also heard now that we can also create it in Cowork itself, but it's based in your OneDrive. And I always say a prompt is something that you do once, but a skill is something that you say, okay, you need to do it a lot of times so you can make better a skill. So it knows that you always want it in that kind of way. So one-off prompts versus skill, one-time instruction. Skill is defined in your OneDrive and it's automatically activated in your Cowork. So if you say, for example, with a skill, write it always in my tone. Well, if you say write an email or write a document or write, it will search on the tone of voice of your context that you always use. It's really consequent because you say, this is what I want. This is the way that I want that you work for me. And it's easy for recurring work as well. For example, if you always make a report on the Friday afternoon and you want to send what you did the whole week, and you make a management report around all the things that happened that week, that you need to share that with some stakeholders, you can use a skill for that and how you want that every week in the same kind of order. What kind of context is important to getting there? And what kind of data they always need to put out of it. You don't have to put that every week but you can use the skill to create it and you schedule it like that. It comes back every Friday and it will work for you every time. Then you already have from Cowork 13 built-in skills, things like Word and Excel that are already some skills that are there, but you can use up to 50 different skills per user and you can upload them in your OneDrive. And I also see some people were using skills from Cloud or for different kind of AI tools. You can put them all in Cowork as well. You don't have to make new skills, but you can also migrate them to Cowork itself. When do you create a skill? When you have recurring workflow, fixed structure, and when you have your brand voice in there. And for example, like your company conventions. It's good to go to the demo. I think that's the best part as always. And first of all, I want to share this because it's a print screen, but I'm doing a lot with transcripts. Every time when I go to Cowork, I always use my transcripts. So it's good to share my screen. And I wanted to share this in the PowerPoint as well, because then you know that you can, when you put on Copilots or the facilitator agents, you have the button transcripts over here and you can download it, but also you can use it in Cowork when you use Slash and go to the meeting. See if I have the right one. I think so. We go there. Are you seeing something? Great.
We can see.
Okay. So I wanted to share about transcripts. What you see here in the bottom is chats and Cowork. So first of all, we go to Cowork. There we see. And what you see here is that we can have like my transcripts over here. So I can upload the transcript or I can use it by downloading the transcript, or I can use it by Slash and finding the transcript in my environment. But I did a download first. So I said like make an analyze my concept email for me with actions. So make a concept email for my colleague Maria and give her some updates. And I also want a PowerPoint creation around the discovery call that I did with this customer. Well, it's starting and you see like different process is really searching. The whole process is also there with the steps. And what comes out is that we see the discovery call is analyzed. I asked it to analyze it as well. And it made like a PowerPoint deck over there. And the other thing is it's also created a concept email in my email box. We have a lot of scenarios, so I'm going to the next one, but it's really nice that you see like the next step is also that it can go to different kind of applications. I think it's good to give you one, Alev. Is that good? That I share one of your demos, maybe the finance one? Are you ready for that?
So if you click the finance budget variance, so if you are working in a finance department, you need to deal with too many complex data, and sometimes it can take time for you to just do it manually. So one thing you can do is just create a prompt, variance forecast updates, pack for this month, full actuals, commitments, content. So you can just ask it to give the context, and then the expectation is produce an updated Excel forecast model tab and a 5-slide PowerPoint variance up then pillar word variance. So we can just go on and select maybe save as a draft. And you just the short Excel documentations. All these demo materials are dummy, so it's not based on Contoso. It's a fictional company of Microsoft.
And of course, we did already a preparation because normally, well, it takes like a few minutes before everything is created. So you see now it's creating a draft in Outlook. It's failed. It's always that we see when we do a demo, right? I don't know why, but we can ask it again to say do it. But I think everyone will get it. It makes like a draft in the Outlook calendar. And this is also as well like the email that you see, June. It's the manager's name, a quick heads up. So everything that we have from this document and budgets and everything around a PowerPoint slide, it's all created and attached in the email.
And because you said save as a draft, you will see that draft in your Outlook. So it's really been integrated very deeply in your Microsoft 365 environment. So if you need to just go through some of the emails when you are returning from a leave, and you can just ask Cowork to go through all of my emails and bring me the ones that I need to respond back, and you can just ask it to create a draft because you would like to be in control. So this is why I said be careful while giving the permission. If you just ask it to send out an email every time without asking, it will automate that process.
And if we go to the email right now, let me see my screen, because I really want to share it as well, that people see it. You can see here the concepts, emails with the email over there. So what I do is as well a lot is creating all the time like concept emails from a transcript, but as well like what you said from a budget meeting, creating first drafts for your next steps. Yeah.
Or
Looks
you can
amazing.
just ask it send as a Teams notification. So it goes, for example, one of the things that I use when I follow a meeting, this means that I didn't join. I ask Cowork to just go through all of my follow-up meetings and just give me a recap in Teams chats every day at 5 p.m. Or I can just make it like 6 a.m.
So yes, of course, you can say like a time that you want to shadow it and that it needs to create something for you. Let me see if we have another great example. I can do, for example, like on sales part. I really like that one because normally we look a lot like in Cowork, what is actually already in your applications. But for example, what you also can do in Cowork is like you can create it from dynamics. So for example, if you say, give me all the opportunities this month, then I can put here and you see like customized plugins. So the dynamics part is also on right here. And you can upload some plugins, but it's searching on the data on dynamics. So if I actually say, like, give me all the opportunities from this month, I will get it. But also give me analyze why it doesn't work out with this kind of customer. Or you can say, me more information about this account manager and what is all the open opportunities on that account manager or on that customer. So that's really an interesting one as well. And I see here what you said earlier, Alev, the skills are also there and available now. Let me see if I can go back in dynamics. It's running now, so maybe it's good to come back in a few seconds and going to the next one. So this is the dynamic sales one. It's searching in the environments. The other one is legal one. Maybe you can share a little bit about that, Anish.
Yes. So there's a thing called red line and MSA. So you can actually use Cowork and just refer to your documentation, and it will actually help the legal people. By the way, whenever I work with a legal department, they love using Copilot and Cowork. So you'll just refer the contract and say, this is from Econtosa Limited, and you can just ask it to, if you are the supplier, it's governed by the UK law. So you can just do the regional thing. So it will segment contract into clauses, use the segmentation script, compare each clause against UK standard positions. And then the last thing is draft the cover note that I can send to legal team with the package. So this is more of, if we compare the tasks, this is more of a medium task because you are just given few things and then it's creating an artifact. So maybe we can do out of office handover, but this is actually one of the things that I use in my day-to-day life, create an out of office handover. So it will create you a handover Excel spreadsheet. It will go and look at your emails, your calendar items. So it knows about you and it knows about, that's the work IQ, your close network and your organization. So I can ask it to please go through my colleagues' calendar and see if they are available for a backup for this week. So those kind of things are actually great. And then you can ask it to create me a very clear and filterable dashboard. So you can actually see those kind of things.
So it's going to look at all your agenda. It's going to say, this is one that I want to flag for you, and as well give you a dashboard about creating. But as well, it can give you back, like, do you need to do something with this meeting, right? It's now you're on vacation or you're not there. Is it something that I can work for you to create it in a different kind of week, or do I need to reschedule it? Really easy. Sorry for this. I thought I already did this, but is Neil running on it?
Like you said, this is the great,
Yeah.
it can run in the background. And because Copilot Cowork works in cloud, you don't need your laptop even open. It can just finish the lines. And also, Cowork is available on mobile for so if you are traveling, you can just shoot on something with, create something with Cowork. And then when you're at work, it will be just created for you.
We also have the newsletter one you mentioned or you told. So I think we get a lot of like newsletters and all kind of things that we need to learn or that we create, or all kind of marketing news publications. And I think I can imagine in Microsoft itself, it's even way
It's nearly impossible to keep up with anything. And if someone says, I know everything about Microsoft 365 Copilot, no.
So you asked for this to bring everything together that you get the last 7 days and give me an article style brief so I know everything that will send to me.
Think about yourself. If you need to follow different newsletters as well as different email addresses, you can actually provide that email address and it will include into the response. So we get too many updates from different email address for Microsoft product update.
Well, we don't have a lot of this demo tenant I see now, but the idea is wonderful. And I think it's really great to let it work for you. So we had the sales, Copilot Sales Dynamics. We have the transcripts. And I think the one that we want to learn you from is you start with your transcripts. You created a to-do, or you created a next step, an email, you created a PowerPoint presentation. It's all based on your transcripts. The other thing that we see is also that you can use Cowork to do something like coaching for yourself. What I do a lot, and this is a demo tenant, but I'd love to share in person what I do a lot, is I want to grow to this next role, for example. Please act like in this role, give me advice in how I can go there, or what are the stakeholders to grow to that way. But as well, are the things that I don't know yet about myself. I'm a person who is not really focusing all the time. I can do a lot of things different because I love the things that I do, and always new things popping up. So I need some focus time. So I also ask on the end of the week that it gives me that I did the right thing. So I put on my full role in Cowork and I say, you need to coach me every week if I did the right things and are the right things in my agenda, and give me more focus time if I need it, and also give me advice in where I do say no, because I'm a person who say a lot of yes to a lot of things. So that's something like about the self-care coachings, what you can do. So what you do here is that you say, okay, you give the roadmap of Microsoft and give me an update in what changed or what is now the roadmap from Microsoft part, and it creates HTML export PDF.
Export PDF. We can just ask it to create me a filter for Microsoft 365 Copilot chats, agents, and it will create like a really nice things. So in Microsoft, because we receive things under NDA, I also have this filter, like, is it publicly available or can I share under NDA?
Interesting.
Because literally, it's impossible to
Wow,
get
this is a
everything
really
in
good
one
tip.
place.
It's a really good tip. It's also nice if something changed or something that you can ask, okay, look at every day, like the end of the day, and is there something changed? And instead of like yesterday, then we'll also know, okay, it's now general available, for example, or it's rolling out, or there's something new. That are all really good use cases. Is there something that we want to do around the connectors? We already did a little bit around it, but is there something that you want to share more?
We'll have more connectors and plugins available. So we have the dynamic sales. We have the Fabric IQ, we have Dynamics 365 ERP applications, and Dynamics 365 Custom Service will be available through Cowork. So you don't need to do anything. You'll just turn it on or off